Coming to you live from our studio in Atlanta, Georgia, this is the A1 Trading Daily Show. Whether markets are rising or falling, we're here to keep you up to date with the latest market news. Join us as we trade currencies, commodities, and indices live, Monday through Friday.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another live stream. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you if you're in other parts of the world. And we are back for another daily show. We've been doing this every day for the last several years. And thankful, as always, to be back here. I'm joined with James. How's it going, James?
It's going good. Nick, how's it going today with you?
It's good. It's good. Hey, we've got Jerome Powell speaking.
Yep.
What's that all about?
Yeah, well, Jerome Powell, as most of us in here probably know, is the chair of the Federal Reserve, the branch of the government responsible for the dollar, the monetary policy going on with the dollar and raising interest rates, things like that. So what Jerome Powell has to say today is definitely going to impact the dollar. We don't know exactly what he's going to talk about, but here coming up pretty soon in about an hour and a half or so, Jerome Powell is going to be speaking. And again, based on whatever he has to say, we are definitely going to see some dollar moves today.
Yes, and of course we have somebody in the audience asked, what time does Jerome Powell speak? You've got it pulled up there. It's 11 a.m. U.S. Eastern, so convert that to whatever time zone you are in, and that is the time for you. Again, he's speaking. It's not like he's making a massive announcement in terms of what the Fed's next move is going to be, but he's involved in a panel discussion which could still hint at what the Federal Reserve is looking at next. So, of course, we want to just invite everybody for welcome you to today's stream. If you are just tuning in, we do these pre-rolls just to take a look at what's going on today. James, have you had a chance to look at next week? Is there anything that is on the radar for next week there for markets?
Take a look at next week right here. So Monday, clearly there's nothing going on, but on Tuesday we have the PMI numbers coming out, all the pound, euro area, US dollar, those PMI numbers always come out on the same day. So Tuesday is going to be PMI day, and we have New Zealand monetary policy statement, New Zealand interest rates that same day as well. Wednesday, pound CPI, as well as the Bank of England's Governor Andrew Bailey. He's going to speak, looks like sometime after the CPI release. And we have FOMC meeting minutes for the U.S. on Wednesday. That's going to be a big one as well. Followed by U.S. GDP on Thursday, and on Friday, core PCE price index. So lots of stuff going on with the U.S. dollar. Again, next week, that FOMC meetings minutes is going to be probably the biggest news drop of the week happening next Wednesday.
Yeah, it definitely looks like next week will be a little bit more busy than this week was. It was kind of a quieter week in terms of news, but not necessarily in terms of volatility. We've seen the dollar trading up, and all of those things we're going to be going into as we get into the technical charts here today. James, thank you as always for reporting the news, and we'll catch you back later.
All right, thank you.
All right, and so in terms of news this week, as James mentioned, it's we've got lots of stuff going on next week. We've got the Fed meeting minutes, and then of course you've got PCE numbers on next Friday. These things will likely move the markets, but in terms of this week, it's been a relatively quiet news week. However, the volatility, especially on things like the US dollar, has still been very high. And as you can see here, as we get going this morning, the dollar was showing some weakness there, pulling back off of the highs here around 103.6 where we tagged. Price has been retreating since then. But as we came into this sort of upward trend line and level of support here that we could draw into this chart here, you can see bulls have just been on parade for the dollar. And yet again, finding some strength here off of this candle, as you can see, currently trading off of this upward trend line, which is a pretty impressive move there, to say the least. So the question is this dollar going to crack? And, at some point it will. It's just a matter of how long will that go on? And do you really want to try and fight this move? So I've talked about this in my recent videos and live streams. I am bearish on the dollar, but not at current price action points, right? We just have what seems to be a impossible uptrend, right? One of those trends that just does not want to crack to the other direction. And so until that shows signs of weakening, I'm not looking to short the dollar at this time. Many new traders, I think one of the big mistakes that new traders make is that when they see a chart like this, they think it's an opportunity to sell. And although sometimes you may be able to catch a top or something like that, I found in my trading journey that is just harder to do, to go against a strong upward trend. So what I do is, if I want to sell something, I wait for the trend to actually form to the opposite direction. So in this case, when we're looking at the dollar, I'd be looking for it to break levels like 103.10, and then maybe look to sell once sellers show that there's actually appetite to flip the market direction. But until that happens, this is just one of those things where I have to sit on my hands and not do anything about this until we get an opportunity to look at it closer. So we're looking at the 4-hour chart here. We'll drop it down to the 1 hour for a moment here, looking at the dollar. And again, a really, really impressive move here off of this trend line, as well as this consolidation zone. Looking left, you could see the dollar just really strong, taking every opportunity, it seems, to try and find buyers in this market. Let's talk about trades that I'm looking at, trades that I'm in. So I don't have any dollar trades open per se on the short term. I do have a couple interesting trades open. I am currently long silver, which is a unique one. This is more of a dollar cost averaging longer term approach, but I picked up a silver trade yesterday on the long side around 23.48. So I'm slightly up on this position. Well, let's see if I'm still up. Maybe I got that wrong. Yeah, we're still up on this one. Here is my silver position. Now, this is, of course, a little bit different than some of my traditional swing trading, where I'm trailing stops and tight stops. This is more of a position trade where I'm looking to potentially dollar cost average as I see fit. If silver goes down further, I actually think there's some opportunity to add to it. So that's a trade I'm in right now. You guys know I like to share whatever I'm trading on the streams each day. So we'll keep an eye on silver. It's one that I am looking at. I wanted to take a look at. There's several markets I want to watch. So the NASDAQ. Let's start there. So for those of you guys who are trading or watching the NASDAQ has been really, really strong. Like it's defying gravity, I think, because right now it's hardly pulling back and finding buyers yet again and again. Now, why is this? Well, it seems that the market is its fear surrounding the debt ceiling stuff has sort of fallen by the wayside. It seems that going forward, that there will be some sort of resolution to that situation, and the market is catching wind to that, and the NASDAQ is flying high. So the question is, do you buy the NASDAQ when it's doing something like this? And my opinion is no, but I'm watching it closely for pullbacks, because this is an incredible move, and I would love to be a part of it, and if I can catch a reasonable pullback. So let's do some of that. Let's draw some fibs here. So let's see. I think my computer needs to be restarted. It is being slow today. So here's your fib levels. One thing that sticks out to me, and again, this is a tough move to sort of get involved in, because when it makes these one directional pushes like this, it can be really tricky to try and capture an opportunity to get long, right? You're sitting there and you're saying, well, I want to be long, but it's run so strong. Like, how can I be a part of this? Well, again, these moves, they don't last forever, right? It would, usually what happens is the market moves in some form of a wave where you get big pushes, big pullbacks, big pushes, big pullbacks. So I'm looking for one of these moves where the pullback occurs. Now, I wouldn't short it because, again, I don't know how long that pullback will last. But if this pullback does start to come into play, where we see a move perhaps down to like the 50% retracement or the 61.8% retracement. I'm sorry, my fibs are reversed. I just realized that's confusing. Let's just redo those. And yes, my computer is just being so slow today. I think it's just catching wind that it's Friday. So anyways, yeah, this 61.8% retracement, this 50% retracement, these are areas where I'd be interested in buying if I can get a pullback on the NASDAQ. So that's a trade that I'm interested in. Let me know, guys, what charts would you like me to look at? If you want me to pull up a specific chart, please feel free to drop it in the chat here as we get going today. And again, happy Friday to everybody. We've got the weekend around the corner here, so we are kind of doing our rounds here, ending out the week on the stream, watching for setups going into next week primarily. I mean, I use Fridays. I will sometimes take trades on Fridays, but I oftentimes end up using Fridays to sort of prepare for the next week or the week ahead, unless there's something really interesting that I'm watching. Doge Digger says, Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. What's going on with the price of Bitcoin? And again, I don't know what is... I think it's TradingView is just sometimes very demanding on your computer. And when you're streaming, it can be a lot. So sometimes I just need to reset my computer, I think, or reboot it. Bitcoin, yeah, I mean, it's just so choppy. Bitcoin has not been so decisive. And this is a little bit disappointing. If I'm being honest, Bitcoin's price action here has been relatively disappointing. The NASDAQ is flying high. Risk on seems to be doing okay. And yet here's Bitcoin trading down, right? Where's the Bitcoin? Where's the Bitcoin bulls that are, should be pushing it up alongside the NASDAQ? Is kind of weird to not see that action. If you're watching Bitcoin, what I would say is if we can get breakouts, I think then you start having some interest on Bitcoin. But until then, right now, we are just stuck with sort of this choppy range-bound Bitcoin, which is very tough to trade, especially if you're sort of a day trader. You need that volatility, right? So you've got support resistance kind of just stuck in this range here, and can't seem to catch a bid. We have Bitcoin on the Edge Finder. Yes, that is in fact the case. We just recently added Bitcoin to the Edge Finder. Let's see what Bitcoin is being said about on the Edge Finder. So we'll pull up under crypto. So we just added this new section, crypto, go to Bitcoin, and you can actually pull up Bitcoin. So we have been adding some crypto to the Edge Finder, which is really exciting. We've got Bitcoin, and I think we have plans in the future. We'll probably get, Ethereum and perhaps some other ones out there. I can't say I'm like very knowledgeable about cryptocurrencies. I think that they're very interesting and potentially have a place in the future. So we want to make sure that they're added to the Edge Finder because, again, our software, we're trying to be the best we can with the tool. And people trade Bitcoin. So here it is. We got Bitcoin in the Edge Finder. So let's go through this real quick. In terms of interest rates, for some reason we have a null here, which I'm not sure why. We might need to check in on that. Null on the interest rates for Edge Finder's Bitcoin. That's kind of weird. Regardless, let's take a quick look at this. So if you're looking at Bitcoin, the way to read this pretty quick, this scoring breakdown takes you through all the different categories that we track for. So if we look at COT data, it's about 50-50. So we get 0 in that category, meaning no strong bias. Retail sentiment, however, the crowd is very much long on Bitcoin. So that gives us a -1. Seasonality, the month of May historically is not a good month for crypto. It seems May and June both are negative months for the crypto space, which could be interesting going into the summer months. Trend is still projected to the downside. GDP growth, the way we score this one is that a growing economy is generally going to be perceived as bullish for crypto in our view, because growing economy, extra money floating around, people getting jobs, that sort of thing, that can lead to what can create those crypto runs, right? Where you have lots of college kids and young adults who are primarily with the ones heavily involved in crypto. If they have extra money in their pockets, it could lead to some bullishness on crypto. So when we don't have that, it's the opposite effect. Inflation, similar to the stock market, high levels of inflation assume that rates have to stay high. Rates being high hurts the consumer ultimately, which again hurts the bull case for crypto. So yeah, it's been an interesting one here, I would say, with Bitcoin. Not necessarily something that has a lot of bullish promise, I think, in the short term. We'll see how that one plays out. But again, we do have it added to the Edge Finder. If you guys want access to the Edge Finder, by the way, you can actually grab a free trial today. We're going to drop a link in the chat to where you can send a message to us and ask for a trial. So we have support reps on deck. There are people in office right now who can hook you up with a free copy of the Edge Finder to try out. If you would like to try out the Edge Finder, play around with it. It's got all your favorite assets and pairs. If you trade any of the miners, if you trade all the majors, any currency pairs, commodities, you've got gold, oil, and indices, of course. We have so many different things that we've added into the Edge Finder. And if you want to play around with it today, or even going into this weekend, spend some time with it. All you got to do is ask us for a free trial by clicking this link right here, and you'll be connected to one of our support reps where you can try out the tool for yourself. So yeah, Bitcoin, kind of a tough chart, I would say, until you get a break one way or the other. It just looks like it's trading sideways at this time. Again, we'll go back to the dollar for a second. The dollar has been really, really strong. And yeah, I don't know what is going on with the computer today, guys. It is being so challenged. Like, look at this. It's just stuck loading. There it goes. Again, and it's still loading the analysis. So I might need to, like I said before, probably need to do something with the computer, reset it or something. But yeah, we'll come back to the dollar in just a second. Give us a second to load. Before we come back, we're going to run a quick commercial break and thank our sponsors who make this stream possible. And then we'll bring in Frank afterwards. Maybe he can help us out with some commentary. So here you go. We'll run a quick commercial break right now.
Attention A1 Trading Show fans, if you're interested in getting free access to the Edge Finder or our premium trade alerts, listen up. For a limited time, our show's partnered broker 8cap is giving out free access to our products when you sign up for a new trading account with them. If you already have a broker, you may want to consider switching to 8cap because of their low trading costs, a wide range of trading assets, and their amazing customer support. If you'd like to get access to our software and Discord server for free, click the link being dropped in the chat right now and ask one of our team members for more information. Don't miss your chance for free products and an award-winning broker. Now back to the A1 Trading Show.
All right, and we are back. Hopefully for the better. I tried just refreshing the tab, see if it was a little bit faster. If you guys aren't familiar, TradingView is actually pretty demanding of a website. It's a lot of job and code going on when you're using it. Am I choppy? Am I appearing the computer literally dying on me as we go along? I'm not sure what is going on. Gold continues to trade down. We haven't talked about gold yet. Yeah, this still cannot catch a break. Gold tried to find a bottom here, or it is trying to find a bottom here just above 1950. Traded off of those lows, and now just does not seem like it wants to stay strong. I would actually caution traders who are watching gold here, be really careful with this. This actually looks like it might be what is called in traditional technical analysis a dead cat bounce. Now, I didn't make up the names, but this is what oftentimes it is referred to when you get something like this. You get a big flush to the downside with a weak little retracement and it fails. It sometimes can create another flush down without much hesitation at all. You could identify it something like this, right? Where you get these little tiny green candles, attempts to hold, and it's followed by big flushes. So if you guys are watching gold right now, be very cautious that you're not going to get caught up in something like this, where the low is in here for gold, but if that low gets challenged, you could actually see a bigger break to the downside. Like another, if this breaks, right, you could see another flush very quickly to the downside. So if you're watching this on the long side, be very careful of that 1950 mark. I think if that 1950 mark gets challenged and broken underneath, we could see a Friday sell-off on this thing that just doesn't want to quit. So again, we do have Jerome Powell speaking today. So from a technical analysis perspective, if you guys see gold breaking underneath like 1955, I would just say watch it very carefully and proceed with caution on the long side, because this thing wants to just, it seems like it wants to just keep going. And of course, we'll see if that is the case. Of course, the contrary would be true if you start to see strength, like a big green candle, and we actually see higher lows on the lower time frames. Some of you guys trade in the 1 hour, the 15-minute chart. Keep an eye on that as well. I would just say watch very closely price action this morning. And when we look even closer in, if we take a look at like the 15-minute chart, you can really get in here and see what's been going on. So we traded off of these lows around 1955. We've been trading off those, but again, this upward trajectory is being challenged right now. If gold keeps going lower and is able to bust through those previous lows, I would just be very careful on the long side. This market does not look like it has strong buying in it yet. And until that changes, I'm not getting long myself. You guys know I've been bullish on gold. I still am bullish on gold, but I'm waiting for price action to sort of validate my idea of being long biased on gold from a fundamental perspective. So I want to show you guys, we talked about Bitcoin. Let's talk about the older brother of Bitcoin. And when I say older brother, I mean by 5,000 years older. The gold market, right? Crypto and gold share some similar traits in that regards. But gold has gone from what was a strong buy on the Edge Finder to actually the opposite. Now, not the opposite, but it's gone to neutral, right? It's lost its steam. Part of the reason is, of course, the trend now is showing to the downside, despite some economic figures pointing to the upside, notably inflation still very, very hot. It's just lost its steam. And this is with the Edge Finder, what it tries to do is it tries to incorporate a full picture to the analysis behind what's going on. The trend here to the downside is going to keep me out of long trades. And again, the neutral scoring is also going to keep me out of any trades. There's nothing here for me to do on the gold chart at this time. So yeah, it is Frank, are you good to go, or is he having technical difficulties? I can't tell. I assume you guys are working on something. So just let me know if you guys can. If we can, you could either message me or whatever, but no worries either ways. We'll figure it out. Yeah. So I'm cautiously bullish on gold, but not from a price action standpoint, and I'm not buying this chart. So I'm waiting for a breakout. Notably, what I would need to see to get bullish would be something like this, right? Breaks above resistance, higher lows, higher highs. So I'm not there yet with gold. Let's talk about the yen pairs. See what's going on here in terms of pound yen, still very, very solid. This chart, and I think TradingView is finally being faster for me. I had to refresh I just had to reload the page. That was a little bit faster for me. So thank God, because oh my gosh, that was frustrating. But pound yen, another chart. I actually like this one long a lot. If this thing pulls back to the support level, I would actually be a buyer. I'm interested in pound yen. It has moved on without me a couple times here this week, and I'm still willing to try and catch a buy trade if possible. I missed this one this morning even. This was happening in the middle of the night for me, so I wasn't able to capitalize on that pullback, but I've been watching for pound yen. It's been on the buy list, I think, for a little while here. Yeah, it's been GJ. Here it is, buy rating. Euro yen also on there. Dollar yen has been a strong buy for a while. And all those charts are exploding. Those yen pairs are just so strong right now. And so, you also got like dollar yen here. We pulled that one up. Dollar yen, really, really strong, and has not given much of a chance for any pullback buying, I would say, at this time. So I'm watching cautiously things like euro yen, pound yen, dollar yen for pullbacks, but I'm not getting them yet, right? We had euro yen break to the upside, and it's been a beautiful continuation pattern over and over. You've had these very shallow retracements. And one thing I do like about shallow retracements is that they often show really strong buying. Like when a market is trending really, really well, usually it looks like this, where you just get these slight pauses and these minor pullbacks, and they just keep going and going. And I do actually like trading these sorts of markets. So I'm watching all the yen crosses, keeping an eye on that, and we'll see if we can get any opportunities there. So Yeah. Let's see. Is Frank good to go? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, Frank is good to go. So Frank, what's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Were you guys having some technical difficulties or something in there?
Yeah, we were trying to figure out the sound, but we got it.
Okay.
So
Okay. Cool. Cool. Hey, Frank, you're in the new room here, which is
I
cool. Maybe
am.
let's go with
Oh,
this layout for a second. Now I can see your room, and you can
I
see.
just
Oh,
learned you can switch camera angles too. Hold on. This is
oh,
really
really?
cool.
Wait, stay right there. I gotta turn
Ready
my
for
trading
this?
view light on.
If I want it to be more dramatic, I click on this angle and then I turn towards you
Oh,
and switch the
wait.
subject.
How'd you do that?
I
You
don't
got
know. I
two
just saw
cameras
there
in
was an
there?
option. There's another camera here apparently.
Oh, wait, that's really
But
cool.
yeah, so
That's fancy. In case you ever want to make two
if I want
points,
to be if I want to be dramatic.
you could make 1 point, Frank, and then you could just turn to the other camera and make the exact same point and make it dramatic.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Hey, so I'm talking about yen pairs. You and I were looking at these a little bit. I'm
Right.
looking at euro yen right now, and I was making the point, and you may have your own thoughts on this, but what I was saying is that when you get these moves where there's hardly any big pullbacks, like it's just slight retracements followed by breakouts, I would say that those are like the strongest moves in the market. Those are like the strongest trends is when the pullbacks are very shallow and they just keep going and going and going. Um,
Right.
what's your take on yen pairs? Are you watching any which I know you said this morning to me off camera that you were watching it. Which ones were
Yeah,
you looking
I'm
at the
very
most? Oh,
Um, GJ for one, I've been looking at that for a while, ever since the initial rate hike a few years, or not a few years, a week or two ago. Um,
mhm.
oh, I still have some analysis written up on here, but so I was looking at a break in the highs, which it did end up doing, but I haven't really been present in the market this week, so I missed a lot of moves. But I guess now, um, it's kind of tough to buy at the highs.
Right.
So for GJ at least, I'm gonna be looking for a pullback, hopefully to that support level. But the two daily candles right there are just wild. Very positive bullish pressure. Um,
Yeah, it has
so
been really, really
I'll
strong.
have to play it by ear.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
noticed.
I'm very bearish yen overall. Sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead.
and yen has been. Yeah, I think there's like a slight delay. Sorry about that. I think the smart money tracker. We've talked about this point several times, but the Japanese yen, it seems just to stay pegged to the far left hand of this screen. What we're looking at is, of course, the COT report data. Um, this is showing us where institutional traders are positioned, hedge funds and large speculators alike. We have from the CFTC's commitment of traders data, we can see their positioning. And currently, the Japanese yen, as Frank and I have covered for the last few weeks on these streams, has been pegged to the left hand side of this screen, meaning it is one of the most, actually, it is on our list of things that we're looking at here, the most proportionally shorted asset on the institutional data that we have from the COT reports. So it seems like big money is very much piled in on a short trade against the yen and reaping the rewards of this that have set up for several weeks now. We've watched the Japanese yen stay on that 79% short ratio or somewhere near it for a while. And we can actually even see that, Frank, with those charts that, courtesy of yourself, you helped us put together. You look at dollar yen here, and you can see that the yen short over time, which is in red here, has not only been present since March 31st. We had, a very low long ratio here. We've seen it slightly come back. It's now risen to about a 21% long ratio, but it's still, regardless, stays very, very much heavy on the short side is the Japanese yen. So I don't know what else outside of the yen. What are you looking at here going into maybe next week?
Well, so even on the opposite side of that, JP225, the Japanese
Hmm.
stock market index, is heavily long. You can see it just keeps increasing in the long contracts over time. Um, and as well as they're scaling out of the shorts. So it's very clear what institutions are trying to do right now. That dovish BOJ statement a couple weeks ago, where they're like, we're going to keep rates below zero. We're going to focus on economic growth. We're not going to, worry about raising rates anytime soon. Just very weak for the yen overall. So overall,
Yeah, and
just,
it
you know,
Yeah, it
go
gives
ahead.
it and it gives an interesting take on it, Frank, too. Like if you're looking at Japan in isolation, right? Their central bank, incredibly dovish. The Japanese yen, incredibly weak and shorted by institutional traders. And we can see their equity market reaping the rewards of that situation. It almost, for US related trading, paints a picture as to what things could look like if the Federal Reserve becomes more dovish at a point. And the markets are forecasting for towards the end of this year, perhaps going into next year, or in some cases, people saying even before the end of this year, depending on what happens with jobs and the economy, that rate cuts could be on the table at a point. And again, going off of this concept here with what's happening in Japan, we see a really dovish central bank and we see the stock market there really reaping the rewards. For those of you guys in the audience who are US indices traders, or you trade the FTSE, or you trade European stocks, if you trade indices, watch the central banks, because oftentimes people forget that the same tactics or same news events that people pay attention to for currency trading, they impact all markets. Currency trading, they impact the bond market, they impact the indices. Yeah, it's really interesting. And also, Kara in the audience says, "Thanks for getting Frank in office. Sometimes the noise around him was crazy. Looks good." Thank you, Kara. And yes, Frank's got his own. Well, it's the news media room. Him and James jump in there
It's
for
the
the streams, and
executive suite.
yeah, it's the executive suite. The other day, I wanted to have a conversation with Frank, and I had to schedule an appointment. So that's how fancy he is nowadays. So I can't get in there unless it's like Fort Knox over there.
Yeah, we don't take walk-ins anymore. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I own the place, and I still can't even talk to Frank. That's that's how prestigious that room is. Anyways, yes. So Frank, we've got a busy week next week. We got PCE on Friday. We've got the meeting minutes, I believe, on it's either Wednesday or Thursday of next week. All of those things could be pretty impactful, and we'll have to be streaming and covering content the whole way next week. But of course, we've got Kenzo joining us here in a minute. So Frank, I'm gonna let you go here. Thank you for coming on the show and working through the
Sure.
technical difficulties, and we'll see you back tomorrow.
Yeah, good to be
Or
here.
I'm sorry,
Thanks.
Monday. See ya. All right, now we can bring in Mr. Kenzo. Say hello to him. What's up, Kenzo? How are you?
I'm great, thanks, and you, man.
I'm good. And welcome back to the stream, you guys. You know him, you love him. Kenzo is back. Our friend from South Africa comes on once a week. He's a technical and fundamental trader, and I always enjoy having him on the show. Kenzo, what's going on in the markets today? What have you been paying attention to?
I've been looking at US dollar, which is way too strong, man. I don't know what's really happening, but we just need to keep up. I've been checking gold, also USD and NASDAQ, and also some other currency pairs where actually they showed us that, you know what, the dollar is getting stronger and stronger. So yeah, maybe everyone is expecting like Federal Reserve to increase the rates. I don't know, but because we also have the issue of debt ceiling, which I think maybe, I don't know, maybe they're not going to default on that, but things they're not actually looking as good as we think. They might increase the rates, maybe.
Yeah, it's an interesting time for the dollar, because I've made the point here in today's live stream and in my content recently that the dollar strength has been it's been challenging for me, because it's a little bit confusing. It's a little bit I would say personally a little bit overdone, and I'm still predominantly short biased personally. However, I'm not jumping in front of this upward trend, right? So when it's so strong like this, I can't
Yeah.
justify really, doing that. So
It's difficult to back up your statement to say I'm selling because of this or I'm buying because of this. You can't say the news were positive or negative. There's so much stuff going wrong, or maybe things are not as healthy as it seems, but the dollar is just getting stronger and stronger. So, and this might actually turn very quick and just change the direction very quick.
yeah, and
And
I think
later we have like in few minutes, Powell is going to actually give a statement that might change. I think maybe we might see a bounce back, or maybe that will continue. But I don't think it looks good, because if the market is going to reverse, it's going to be like obvious. Everyone can easily see that.
Yes, good points there in terms of the speech coming up, which of course, guys, happens in about 1 hour from now, about 55 minutes. We're going to be
Yes.
hearing from Jerome Powell. Now, I will say with his speech, it is not necessarily as pressing as perhaps a decision or some sort of panel going over what the next move is per se. It is not necessarily a decision point meeting, but it's still, anytime the man speaks, anytime he drops potential hints about what the Federal Reserve is planning to do, it is potentially market moving. And yeah, I mean, Kenzo, the thing for me with the dollar is that it's just so strong at this time. And I have a hard time shorting a chart like this. So even if I'm short biased in the dollar, many traders, I think, fall into the trap of saying, hey, this is too high, I got to short it here before there's any sign of potential weakness. So I've been mentioning that for me, I've got to see a breakout. I've got to see a move underneath 103.1, something like that. Show me that there is a failure from the bulls to hold this before I'm looking to get short myself.
Exactly. Yeah, so for now, it's a bit on my side, it's a bit confusing. I've been like watching the news like for more than 2 hours, 3 hours, but I don't really get the exact point why things are getting like this. You see, so we just have to go with the technical analysis sometimes. I think sometimes fundamental alone is also, it will just confuse you.
Yes, no, that is very, very true, and this is why when it comes to this stuff, I like that you share in the same way that I do. We have a fundamental and technical approach. There is a mash of the two rather than just one, because one weakness of fundamental analysis is that sometimes fundamentals will give you a bias, but they won't give you timing. So you can have a bias, but yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, like if you checked, it's yesterday. I think it's yesterday or day before that. There was like I think it's a retail sales, which were positive. I think for the dollar. I wasn't surprised when I see the dollar gaining the strength, but I was surprised to see the likes of NASDAQ pushing on the same direction, or let's say DXY. It's going with NASDAQ, like with the indexes. So it's confusing because mostly they opposite each other, even if they're not 100% correlated or negatively correlated, but mostly we know that if the other one goes this direction, we know that okay, the other one will go this way. But now if you check DXY, it's like on par with NASDAQ. They just go in the same way, which we never saw that actually before.
Yeah, and so you have to be careful with those kind of moves when you see the dollar, and this is one that Frank, who was just on the show, him and I had a period of time where we saw, I guess it was a few months back, maybe 2 months ago, the dollar and the S&P 500 were moving so strongly correlated together, positively correlated. It was very weird, and when that happens, it is a strange time, because like you said, a lot of times when you get positive dollar sentiment, it's usually off the back of hawkish monetary policy, which can put pressure on equities and things like that. So you see that inverse relationship, and when it breaks down and when they go the same direction, it can be very, very confusing. So I'm watching out for next week. I think that there will be perhaps some more directional bias as we come into the Fed meeting minutes. I believe we have it's either Wednesday or Thursday, I can't remember, but we have some news. I think tomorrow. Wednesday. Yep, you got Wednesday, the meeting minutes, and then of course on Friday we have core PCE numbers, both of which could be impactful and give some directional clarity, I guess, to this market. From then we could take the technicals and move. Here's the thing, guys. I think audience, for those of you guys in the audience, the reason we talk about fundamentals so heavily is because when fundamentals align with the technicals, it creates excellent trending opportunities that Kenzo and myself, we've had times on these shows where the technicals and the fundamentals, they align and they make sense, and the trades are just, they cut like butter. They make sense. And then other times, as a trader, you run into times where it's confusing. They don't match up. They don't make sense. And perhaps in those cases, this is where, as fundamental traders, we have potentially some extra caution where the charts are not marrying up with the fundamentals, and perhaps keeps you out of some bad trades. So Kenzo, you're watching the euro. Anything else that you're watching going into next week? What else are you looking at?
On euro, actually, I can see that still pushing lower, but when I check the structure, it seems to be still, actually, we are not actually crazy bullish. Bearish momentum. There is a chance that maybe we might see the market trying to put the upside again. But for now, you can't just take a sell, you can buy for now. But as the market is not actually aligning with fundamentals, the market will come into reality. Then we might see a very quick reversal, because sometimes the market reacts according to something that might happen, especially, I think, maybe debt ceiling. Then it forgets everything about whatever that is going. After that, if they resolve that, then the market is going to go back to the interest rates, inflation, and stuff like that. And then the market starts to react the way it's supposed to react. And mostly, this time, actually, mostly we lose because the market just does stuff. And once it starts to go back to normal, we're still confused. We're still waiting for some reversal, and the market won't even reverse when that time happens. So I think we just have to be ready. Another one is JPY. JPY, but on JPY, I think it's straightforward, actually, because we know that JPY, actually, let's say Bank of Japan, they did not actually increase their rates. That one, to me, it's straightforward. Everyone's still going to buy against the yen. That one, I don't see any issue. It's good to buy long term, as we know that maybe next month or next month, they're not going to increase their rates. You see, so, but I think it's good now to buy actually yen. To buy anything against yen, because we know that GBP or euro, they still can increase their rates. So it means yen will be they're going to be way too bullish against the yen. So besides that, I'm just concerned about the economic news on the US, especially interest rates. Then I just want to know if maybe they're going to increase or not. That way we're going to have confident buying or selling. But now we are still in the middle. We are not really sure.
Yeah, no, and I love those points that you made in terms of the European Central Bank and the UK, right? There's room to raise rates. Then you have the opposite effect when it comes to Japan. They're dovish, right? They're not looking to raise rates. So you have these divergences that I think can be exceptionally tradable. And I would agree with you. GJ and Euro Yen, those are some of the more clear technical and fundamentally aligning pairs, and I'm glad that you brought that up. So great pairs there, Kenzo. I'm gonna leave you to continue on the show, if that's okay. My computer, I think, is melting because I'm like lagging on everything. So I'll leave you to take over the show if you don't mind. Before I step out, I also want to just say, guys, make sure to go check out Kenzo. He's an exceptional guy, a trader, and combines the fundamentals and technicals. So if you want more from him, make sure to go subscribe to his channel. And Kenzo, enjoy the rest of your stream. Have a great day, man.
Okay, thanks, man. Good day, guys. Good day. I hope everyone is doing great. You can tell me which pairs do you want me to check. But as you know, I'm just going to start with NASDAQ and going down while you still telling me which pairs am I supposed to actually check. Let me see the comments. I'm trying to make the comments very nice. I can see someone saying gold. Okay, it's fine. I will actually start with gold. We actually going on the other one. I see even US oil. So what's actually happening on gold? A few days ago, it was actually on a very nice bullish momentum. You can easily see that the market was actually pushing to the upside. So this was a very nice, clear, very, very, very clear structure. But guess what? The market actually around this area, actually the market broke out, right? So this breakout here, it shows that I'm no longer going on that uptrend. I'm no longer going in that direction. I'm changing that. And this change, it means now we should look forward for a sell, for a downtrend, which means we're going to look forward for sell positions. And at the same time, we can easily see, even if maybe we change the time frame, let me change the time frame to 1 hour. You can easily see that yes, the market actually is actually agreeing with that sell. So it means if maybe gold, I think it's still a very nice time actually to think about selling. But in 1 hour, not 1 hour, maybe let's say 45 minutes, there's going to be like a high impact news, which is going to affect especially anything that has to do with a dollar. So gold is one of them also. So if you're going to trade that, make sure that you are safe, because things might like seriously change very quick. Things might change very quick. So let me see. While we're doing good, I will check the comments, guys. I can see some other guys, they say check GBP USD. Hello. I can see someone say Kenzo, which pair, which a reliable broker in South Africa and stuff like that. Yeah, I will just get back to that. So on gold, guys, we can easily see that yes, the market is actually giving us a downtrend. I'm expecting the market to keep pushing lower and lower. I'm expecting the market to keep pushing lower. So now, if maybe let's say you just saw this analysis, you can do a sell stop. If you will keep selling, then it will find your order ready. Don't just jump on the market just because we say we see a sell. Wait for the market to reach that area, then you can jump on that. Something like that. You see that? So let's check. Let's see something as GBP JPY. Yes, I'm gonna check GBP JPY and US oil. Yes, now we are actually on US oil. I'm just going to check everything, guys. Don't worry, I'm going to check everything that you request me to check there. So the best thing to check oil, so you can just use actually 4 hours time frame or even a daily time frame. But since we always do this analysis, I will just show you this way too easier. You can see that yes, the market actually has been doing what? The market has been actually going down. And now we have a clue that the market is actually on a downtrend. On a downtrend, we know that we have to look for sell positions. So we've been looking for sell positions since then. When the market reaches the resistance side, we look for sell. But now we are around this area. Let's check that and see if maybe we can get something. So now closer, we can easily see that now the market has been selling, but that's getting out of this downtrend. The market created an inner resistant line, but the market is trying to get out. But don't jump on that. Don't jump on that, because if we check this area, the market might be actually on a resistant. The market might actually push the lower side. But sometimes it's a bit confusing, because this might be a retest, or maybe this might be just an adjustment where the market wants to continue with this resistance. So what we're going to do is we just going to mark this area. You see that up to point. So for us to buy, for those who wants to buy, above this area, it's where maybe you can think about buying, but that is going to be a hit and run. You don't actually have to hold that longer, obviously. You see. So when we go on the sell side, it might confuse you. So what you can do is, I also see a structure there that if maybe it's broken, we have to think about selling. So I'm not going to keep this here. I'm just going to remove that and put it here. So for me to sell, I will say I see an area which I can just maybe go on 1 hour for everyone just to see. For me to sell this area, I know we are actually on downtrend. I will try my best to connect these points and make sure if they are broken, then I will take that. So you can have something like that, you see. So let me draw a proper line. I will say, okay, let's start from where we are. Okay. We draw a support area because on top we have a resistance. So if the market breaks this area, now we know what to do. If it breaks this area, we know what to do below that. So we can say if we break, we're going to have a sell pending order, then we're going to jump on a sell. Plus, we know that the market is already on a downtrend. So it's not like maybe it's a new thing, it's on a downtrend. And when we go on a bit bigger time frame, you already identified everything. You already identified that, okay, we are actually on a resistance. This is a resistance that we had. This is a zone that the market respected before. So it makes sense that there is a chance for the market to keep pushing lower. If it doesn't keep if it doesn't keep pushing lower, it means maybe we'll see the market trying to break out here. I hope you see that. So let's see. Check US oil. I will check US oil also, guys. So GBP said I must check GBP. Let me just go the GBP USD. GBP USD. Where are you? Okay. GBP USD. So let's see what's really happening on GBP USD. I hope everyone is doing great, guys. Don't forget to smash that subscribe. There is a link that they gave you there, though, so you can just subscribe to my channel. So what's really happening on GBP USD is I see that the market is actually trying to push to the upside. Sorry, it was pushing to the upside, and now the market just broke out. Do you see that? So the market was pushing very nice on a bullish momentum, but now it seems like the market is actually breaking out. And after breaking out of that support, the market came several times and created some sort of retest. But on the bottom side, we also had an area that we can call a support. Let me go closer there, guys. Let me just zoom a little bit so that you can see this when the market. This is a support area. Then, but we have a diagonal support. The market broke out around the same area. The market respected this area. So you can see that, oh, the market is respecting this area. Maybe the market is just adjusting the trend, but the market was just actually lying to us. The market pushed up, came back around the quite similar area. Then it pushed up again. But for now, the market came back just to make sure that we understand what's really happening. Now the market tested there. Now I'm expecting to see a very nice sell. Why? Because we saw a breakout, guys. The market is breaking out, and we are actually having the dollar. We saw that the dollar is actually a bit stronger. So it means dollar is getting stronger against GBP. So what we have now, I can mark this area to say, you see this zone here, it's supposed to be that support and resistance at the same time. So the market just came back to retest around that zone. So I'm expecting the market maybe to do what? To push lower. But if we go on a smaller time frame, I think we're going to see a very clear picture. So on top there, I also see something that we can use. We can say maybe the market wants to do something like that. That might be something like this. Because we have to use different methods just to have a better view of what we are doing. So let me just mark this area and say what. Let me shorten this ones. Let me shorten this. And now we have a different structure after the breakout, just because we know about the breakout. Now we can have something like this. So when we have something like this, now we know that, okay, yeah, it's easier for us to continue doing what? To continue selling. So where we are now, we can say, okay, if we go on a bit smaller time frame, let's say 1 hour. I'm not saying go and enter on 1 hour, but what we can do is we can have something like this. You see that? We can have something like this. And that might work because the dollar is very strong. But remember, don't jump on the market now. In few minutes, there's going to be some news, so things might not go the way we want, right? Things might not go the way we actually want. So let's go straight to what? Let's check Euro Canada. US oil, I did do that, US 30, and gold, I think I also did gold. So let me do or let me just start from here because someone said do S&P 500. I will do S&P 500. I will from S&P 500 I will jump on NASDAQ. From NASDAQ I will go actually to US 30 to gold then. You see. So now we are actually on S&P 500. On S&P 500, guys, the market is also actually following what it's happening with the NASDAQ and US 30s. So we see that, yes, the market was actually on the resistance side. The market was actually on the resistance side. So even if we go closer, we can even see that, yes, the market created something on top here, which we call a resistance. So the market has been just playing games with us. You can see the market was just consolidating and on a bigger time frame. So it means we were just buying, selling. And at the end of the day, the market actually was giving us this consolidation moves. Now we have a breakout. This one is quite clear. I think on this one, we're not supposed to miss this one. I think everyone can see. Unfortunately, we have the news, but even maybe after the news, if you can, I think we can have something very, very nice there. We can have some very nice bullish entries, or we can have a very nice buy. Let's go on 1 hour and try to see actually what's really happening. If we check very nice, I think we have a sort of a resistance. The market was just consolidating around this before the market opens. So after this resistance, obviously, after this resistance, our job is to do what? Is to jump on that buy if the market will be pushing up. So this might be a buy pending order that you can use. Then we can have a nice buy, or maybe the market might come back a retest before we see a buy. If it doesn't really retest, obviously we will be ready. But please do this maybe on 15 minutes time frame. That might actually help very, very, very nice. So so let me see, which pair do you want me to check then? Okay, let me just go to the next one. Our time is getting up very quick. Let me remove this. We were online before we reached this area. So now we are actually on US Tech or NASDAQ 100 or there's so many names to define a NAS 100 or something like that. So on 4 hours time frame, actually on NASDAQ, we easily see that the market is pushing to the upside very nice. The market is actually on a very nice bullish momentum. The market is pushing to the upside. But from actually the past 2 days, the market was like seriously aggressive. But when we go closer there, sometimes the market doesn't really give us some clear moves. So let's use maybe 1 hour just to see what's really happening there. Because the market has been actually trying to push. You can see the market actually respected this area. We have a very nice resistance, and on top here we also have actually a buy pending order. If the market breaks out, our order is going to be ready. The reason behind that is we are actually on a bullish momentum, so we expecting the market to do what? To push to the upside on NASDAQ 100. If the market breaks this area, if the market doesn't really break that resistance, maybe the market will come back around this resistance here. So this support, or maybe this support, or maybe the lowest one. We don't know. But with this type of a bullish move, just know that there is a room for the market to reverse most of the time. So let's push to US 30. Let's push to US 30 before we go on GBP JPY. On US 30, we had a buy pending order, guys. We had a buy pending order. So on US 30, you can easily see that, yes, the market, or if I go back, like if I go like this, you can easily see that on a 4 hours time frame, the market actually was respecting this area, which we call a resistance. And actually, we're expecting the market to push lower. You see, let me remove this. Sorry. let me remove this. I did that actually in the group. So the market actually is actually on a downtrend, but it seems like the market is reversing. So let's go closer and see what's happening. When we go closer, we had another structure actually, just to actually continue with this downtrend. The market was actually going down, but at the same time, this was a wedge, actually a wedge structure where the market is actually squeezing in this triangle type of a structure or shape. So after that, the market broke out actually. Yesterday, the market broke out here. Then after the market breaks out, we saw that the market started to do what? The market started to consolidate. But since we are actually out of that structure, our job is to say, since the market is breaking out, it means it's taking a different direction. And the direction is simple with us. You can see actually we had a buy pending order here, and now it's triggered. So we're expecting a push. Unfortunately, 5 o'clock is around the corner, and maybe we will be out because we don't really want to stuck in the news. The news might just go up and down, you see. But I'm expecting a very nice push, maybe to reach the resistance before we see another maybe sell or something like that. So GBP/JPY, this will be the last one. Don't forget to smash the like, subscribe. GBP/JPY. Okay, this is going to be the last one. Oh, man, I think we checked this one. Okay. So what's really happening here? Let's go on 4 hours time frame. 4 hours time frame. What's really happening? The market is actually on a very nice bullish momentum. The market has been pushing to the upside for quite some time. So what happened is, since we had our support area, the market started to act like it was actually pushing lower, and it gave us some very nice structure. And that structure now, it ends up as a wedge structure, as it was respecting this resistant area. But we knew that actually the market is actually on a bullish momentum. But just because we don't really want to jump on things, we wait actually. Once we did wait, but what happened is the market broke out. This was clear, just because now the market is no longer respecting this resistance. It's clear for us that the market will actually keep pushing to the upside. So where we are now, we're expecting the market to do what? To push to the upside. When we go on 1 hour, let's try to see this. When we go on 1 hour, we see that the market actually broke out of this. Firstly, the market broke out of this resistance. Then the market started to do this a ranging move. This ranging move happens most of the time. So once the market breaks out there, we start to realize that, okay, the market is trying to show us that I'm having a resistance, and we expect the market to do what? To retest and push up. So what I'm expecting here, I'm expecting something like this to happen. So this is how the market actually moves. The market consolidate, push up, consolidate, push up, consolidate, and push up. At the end of the day, the market is actually on an uptrend. So please don't forget to smash the subscribe button, like, share with your friends. This is Kenzo. Thanks to the team Trader Nick. Thank you very much for the time. So hope to see you next week. This is Kenzo, Extra Out Forex. See you on the next one. Bye.
Thanks again for watching today's show. Our goal at A1 Trading is to continue to share free value to our audience through daily videos and articles, keeping you up to date with the latest market coverage. If you enjoy our content, make sure to subscribe for more. And if you create a new trading account with ACAP, you can get tools like the Edge Finder completely for free. Check the link in the description for more information. From all of us at A1 Trading, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.